All right, let's see if this is going to work. Trying to stream from the laptop here, guys, because I'm not playing anything. Just make sure it's actually working and we have decent latency. Un momento, por favor. It says I'm live. Hey, it looks like it's working pretty well. All right, I think we're in good shape. Use this for chat. Let's keep an eye on things. So welcome to JC Sports Replays. My name is Joe, and this is the third day of our morning vlog. I'm going to try to do this every day for, a short video. Today may be a little longer because we're going to review the 1973 replay a bit. But the reason I wanted to come on today, and hopefully the latency is good. This is my laptop instead of my phone. It's an older laptop, so the internet may not be as good, but we do have an upgraded router, and things seem pretty smooth right now because I'm not asking too much of the laptop. So the only thing it's running is OBS and Digital Diamond Baseball. Now, if this works and we can figure out a way to get a camera on the cards without creating undue latency, we may be able to get the best of both worlds in future broadcasts. So we'll be playing around with that over the next week, seeing what works and what doesn't. But I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about what's going on. I don't know why it changed screens there. Oh, you know why? It's not there. Move my phone over. This is Digital Diamond's main menu from a 1973 replay that you're looking at, but talked a lot about Stratomatic the last couple of days, and I think that discussion has kind of run its course. I think the final word on that from me, just to sum up, is that Stratomatic is a wonderful game that I'm very nostalgic about, that probably needs to figure out how to come into the 21st century of tabletop gaming. Not to mention PC gaming. That's a whole nother discussion, but I don't really play PC games too much, other than to use them as scorekeepers. I used to be a strictly PC gamer. Now, if I feel like I want to play something, I'll jump on my PlayStation once or twice a week, but mostly I'm sitting here rolling cards and dice and hanging out with you guys. For my chat, there's going to be all messages. And, yeah, so I'm strictly a cards and dice guy, but I think Strat's a great game. Final words that needs to, particularly around some practices like carding all the players, even if they offered them as a PDF with the purchase and you could print them yourself, that would be a superior addition. I know they're doing that with hockey apparently, so I'm hoping that carries over to baseball. I prefer printed cards. I'd pay for them happily. Although I think Strat's prices are high too, and their shipping is, as Jeff Guterman mentioned, is outlandish. It's a crazy amount for shipping, which is why I usually stack Strat purchases, because the shipping is a flat charge no matter how many seasons you get, oddly enough. Probably to a point. But I've ordered like 5 or 6 seasons at once, complete board game setups, because that's how I like to get them. And they charge me the same shipping as if I ordered one. So obviously an economy of shipping is the way to go with Strat. But yeah, there's just a few things I wish they would do. For the most part, I love the game. And as a result, when I'm trying to get my streaming house in order here, Strat is going to be the second game of choice, or the co-game of choice alongside Payoff Pitch. Right, so I've jumped around a bunch lately. I've done a number of different replays. I've started this, I've started that, I've started a million and one replays, honestly. Almost no exaggeration. I didn't go back and count, but one of the things I'm going to do over the next week is 2 weeks actually. I may bring my laptop on vacation to work on this a little downtime. I can only socialize so much, guys. I'm pretty introverted most of the time. I need my alone time. I need my time to reset. Is I'm going to be getting the channel sort of spruced up a little bit. I want to make sure that playlists are appropriate, that the only replays we're focused on are the ongoing replays, and that anything else that's started and that's kind of fallen by the wayside, we're going to kind of put in like an old replay playlist. or a discarded replay playlist, to be fair. Um, I may even try to migrate the videos I did on my old channel, which was Strat Baseball History, over to this channel, um, and put them in their own folder as well, just for archiving and purposes like that. And if you hear anything in the background, wife is just doing her usual Sunday morning food prep, so don't worry about it. Production quality high, but this is life, man. I don't worry about it. We're here having fun, playing games, doing things we love. So, in formulating my thoughts over the last couple of days about what I want to do with my channel and what I want to do with my replays, I'm going to hold it to two. I'm really enjoying 1973 Payoff Pitch. We're up to the games of April 18th, which is Wednesday. So we've gone through 2 weekends, so this is technically the third week of the season. And we're going to review where that replay is at today, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed. And then we're going to start, when I come back from Tennessee in a couple of weeks, the super advanced Stratomatic replay of my choice. I may ask for your help on this. I have a couple of different things in mind that I have to narrow it down, and I'm still hemming and hawing about what I want to do, very honestly. And part of it is just time constraints. Like, the title of this vlog is multiple replay problems, and one of the things I've said often in my baseball replay life and in my even video game life is too many games, too little time, or too many replays, too little time. So there's a lot of replays I would love to do. There's a limited amount of time to do that. So I'm going to try to narrow down what I want to do. I kind of have already. My first idea for Strat, because I already have 3 or 4 seasons, was to do a complete 60s replay in Strat. Yes, complete 60s replay. Now, that would mean 1960 through 1969. I would actually probably do 1960 through 1970. Crazy number of games. 60 through 69 is almost 16,000 games if you include playoff games, right? Crazy, just a phenomenal amount of games. It's a decade plus worth of games to roll, based on my usual schedule, which I'm not against. Really not. It'd be hard to stick to. Not gonna lie. If I do full seasons. I also thought about doing shortened seasons for the decade, which has the benefit of, so let's just say, round number, if I played 3 games a day, I think I figured out it would take me 15 years to play the decade of the 60s, 1960 through 69, which takes me right up to retirement, which is kind of cool. God willing, right? I'd be 66 years old when that project came to fruition, and I'd have played an entire decade of replay baseball, or Stratomatic baseball replay, and have a really cool history of the 60s through the lens of Stratomatic. Meanwhile, I'd still be playing other projects on the side. I'm always going to keep it to 2. That's my rule. The other thing I thought about doing is going back to a replay that I got really excited about before I started streaming, and one of those that just fell by the wayside, but a season that I'm super interested in. To me, baseball, as much as baseball begins in my lifetime in 1973, hey, our Red Sox fan, that is a lot of games. It's an awful lot of freaking games, man. Which is why the short season, let me stay on that for a minute, actually, why the short season is kind of appealing. First of all, Strat doesn't card everybody. So if I did a short season, it eliminates the need in my brain to do as played, right? I don't have to do as played. I could not do it. I could choose not to do it for the entire decade, do full season replays, and just let the Strat game engine sort of dictate injuries and rest time, and it does it very well. I've done it before. I've done a couple of, I've done like 4 full season replays over the years with Strat, and letting like the solitaire player rest chart and the injuries dictate playing time, and man, they come out good. Obviously you go over because you don't have every player, but it really lines up nicely. Or I could go to the card viewer, and I could print all the cards that are missing. um, which has a certain weird appeal. I've done it. I've started doing that before for a single team replay, and then I got the negative to that is it's a lot of work to set up, right? But the positive is then you get to do as played with Stratomatic, which is pretty cool. The other side is to do short season replays, which would be like, let's say a 54 or 56 game season for each season, right? I think I figured this out before. 56 works pretty well for most numbers of teams, with not too much variation. I think you do 54 for 60, and then if you do 56 for something like that, 56 or 58 for 61 through 68, and then 69 gets weird because you add four more teams. But yeah, usually those series tournaments and one-offs. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't keep my interest, man. It just doesn't. I've tried to do really short projects, even single team replays. Like I blow through them. I'll seriously finish a single team replay when I'm into it in 3 to 4 weeks, and which is cool because you get it done. But then I'm like, but now I wish I knew what the rest of the stats for this team were. So I guess this is kind of comparing apples to oranges, right? Because hey, we're playing games and they're fun and they're what's going to keep me engaged as the player. What's going to keep you engaged as a player. You're not going to see every game, obviously. So it's more important, very honestly, that I'm playing what I want to play. That's going to keep me interested and focused on a replay and keep me committed to replay. So, and stupid brain. If I do short seasons, I can complete the entire decade of the '60s probably in about 5 to 6 years, which is cool because that means in the same amount of time it would take me to do the full season replay for the decade, I could do, I don't know, let's say the '50s, '60s, and '80s on Strat. Except I don't think I could get every season. Probably if I go aftermarket, I could get. I don't know if they've carded every single, but you have to play what you like, how you like. Absolutely, Al. Absolutely. My issue lately has been too many choices and trying to make other people happy instead of just playing what I want to play. So I 100% know that I'm going to play 1973 Payoff Pitch. I'm in the middle of that. I love it. Having a great time with it. I like seeing where the stats are going on Digital Diamond. So Digital Diamond is going to be a part of this one way or another. Whether I score the games during play or after stream as far as strat goes. Glenn likes to pick up the season in September where there are close races. That's cool too. That's a nice approach. I'm glad it works for you. Yeah, I've not tried that approach. I think that would be a great way to do a short project. That is cool. That is cool. And I've seen a couple of people post results and ongoing like demonstrations of those replays, and I think that's a really cool way to do it. The other thing I've seen that I like, especially from like the old Strat and Appa reviews, is when somebody picks the top 3 or 4 teams, like in a close pennant race, and they played their full season, but only for those competing teams. Like a 3-team replay is pretty cool when they all finished within like 4 or 5 games of each other. You get to play all the teams, but you're only playing all the games for those top 3 contenders. So that's another cool approach. And who knows? I may evolve over time. I may do, I may grab 1960 and do the full season, or and be like, all right, that was a bear. On top of doing 73 full season, 60 full season alongside it, I might get to the end of 60 and be like, all right, I committed to that, I completed it. We're doing 61, but we're doing short season, or we're doing 61, but we're only going to play all the games for the top 4 in each league, which will cut the replay in half, right? Hey, Christopher Slovic, thanks for joining us, man. These are the problems, right? These are the replay problems. These are the thought problems. These are the things that I've struggled with as a replayer way before, for the last 20 years of me streaming. I don't remember if I don't, why I didn't struggle with them when I was a teenager? Because I had one Stratomatic set, and I played the crap out of it. I played it in so many different ways. I had a draft league that I completed for a full season with 8 teams. I did the first thing I think I ever did with it was a full Yankees and Mets replay because it was the 1986 season. Um, I think I probably kind of remember starting the full season replay, but like I didn't have the wherewithal to do it because it was 86, so that was probably 1987, 88 when I was playing around with this, maybe 89. But again, I had one set of strat baseball, one set of strat football, both 1986. That was all I was getting as far as my parents were concerned, and never occurred to me to like use my money I was spending all the money I was making for part time jobs, going out with girls and getting pizza and going to the movies and hanging out at Nathan's and playing video games and shit like that. Buying Dungeons and Dragons supplements. So Strat was like I had enough Strat at the time. I had enough, and I wasn't even conscious of other games, you know. But so I didn't have a problem of like what to play back then because it was like, hey, you got one thing to play it. Now I have pretty much every season Strat's ever put out. I've managed to accumulate I think 8 different baseball games. I have I think I'm up to 8 seasons for payoff pitch collected, and it's like you have to I have to separate collecting from needing to play. It's cool to have the collection. It's cool to be able to look at the cards. It's cool to even play one-offs or like little tournaments with those sometimes just to see how like the cards are laid out and how they interact. Al, thanks for hanging out, man. Take it easy. Hey, Sportsman Z, what's up? Thanks for stopping by, man. Go Bears. Football Sunday, and I'm sitting here talking baseball. What are we gonna do? I'm looking for my Giants game later. I'm I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopeful. Right, so we had all these choices now with like I don't know. God, what do I have? Between all the games, probably close to 100 seasons to choose from. Some of them overlapping, some of them not. What the hell do you do? 73 has been a long time goal of mine. That's my birth year. That's like baseball started in my lifetime. I wrote a little article on the Saber Games and Simulations blog about it, and I'll be updating that periodically, probably on like a every 2 to 3 week in the season basis. I'm probably due for an update actually. And the 73, I'm so committed to. The second project I'm going to do on the channel, still hemming and hawing. I'm still figuring out what format I'm going to do. And I honestly have to do some math. I have to sit down and think about how many games that is and how often I'll be able to play. How many I play every day. So that's not the question for the most part. You know, something comes up every now and then. But even when I have stuff going on, even when I have a long work day, I usually manage to get a game, sometimes two in the morning before I go to work at very minimum. Even if I have stuff in the evening or if I'm hanging out with my wife in the evening and we're doing date night, I always get those 1 or 2 games in the morning. So there's always every day I play a game. um, but realistically, how many games do I play a week? How long would it take me to complete a project if I do it this way versus this way? So that's some of the stuff I'll be mulling over. I'm really leaning towards back to 79 is your favorite baseball season. I have never played a game of 79 for whatever reason. I think I only own 79 in an unseparated Status Pro game that I got over Christmas this past year. And I don't want to break it apart. Eventually, I'm going to because I've never tried Status Pro. Eventually, I'm going to get there and just check it out, and maybe we'll just do like a little tournament or something on the channel when I do. And I'll do the. It's already unboxed, you know, because it was unboxed when I got it. It wasn't sealed, but the cards are unseparated, so it's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I don't even know who won in '79. I can't think of it. It's slightly before my like I was born in '73, right? So I'm a little younger than you, and uh, I remember '77 really well, mostly because of baseball cards and Reggie Jackson, and because I think '77 was a big year as a New Yorker because the Bronx was literally burning. There was a lot going on in New York at that time. So whether through memory or the jogging of memory through seeing all this historical stuff about '77, that baseball season has somehow become really, really prominent in my mind. Um, Again, I know I went to a few games with my dad, but I was 4 years old, so I don't know. He told me that we went to we were at the Reggie Jackson 3 homer game in the World Series. Okay, I don't remember. I have a ticket stub. but I certainly don't believe that I remember being there. Pirates beat the Orioles. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Thank you guys. Um, so I remember 77 sort of through this weird combination of vague memories and a lot of like historical highlight fill in over the years, right? But for me, baseball really began in my memory in, I want to say like 83, 84. 84 for sure. I remember sitting with my best friend Mike at the time and watching Mattingly and Winfield compete for the batting title. That was the first like year that I was really aware of the Yankees as my favorite team, as an identity I could relate to outside of baseball cards. Like I can see images of those games on the television. I can remember going to a couple of games that year. Um, so probably 84, because what, I was 10 or 11? Yeah, so I was 10 in 83, 11 in 84. It's real easy for me. I was born on January 1st, so when the year turns over, I'm a year older. Now you have my birthday. Later, I'll give out my social security number, my mother's maiden name, and this way everybody can apply for credit on my behalf. But yeah, 84 was like when it really began. And then, of course, Gooden in 84, and then the Mets and Yanks both being pretty good in 85, and the Yanks always falling short. And then 86, which is like the year the Yanks should have put it together but didn't have the pitching, and the Red Sox somehow put it together, and then the Mets were just out of the world that year. They owned New York that year. So that was like the sweet spot. And then my second sweet spot, even though I was a fan all the way through, right? But like always focused on the New York teams. And the Yanks sucked in the late 80s through the early 90s. So then it blew up again in like 94 when, of course, we didn't get a friggin' World Series. But 94 was such a great season, and I remember being so engaged in the entirety of baseball for the first time. Maybe because of video games, maybe because of having like access to understanding who others' players were and having like PC games like Hardball and all that stuff. Front Page Sports 94, I think, was a big baseball game that I was playing. Probably in 95, obviously, but so yeah, that's my sweet spot. Probably like 84 through 2000 for me. But I'm fascinated by the 70s. I know all the 70s players from baseball cards and from reading books. But I'm way off topic here, but fuck it, we're talking. It's a vlog. Not supposed to make sense. It's a train of thought kind of thing, man. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting, by the way. But for me, I want to figure out what replay is going to engage me in Strat that I'm going to stick with. So it's either going to be one of two things. Kind of making this decision on the fly. I'm either playing 60 as a full season to start, and we'll see how it goes. Well, if I commit to 60 as a full season, we're playing 60 full season, right? I've never played 60. It's on the way. Spent my little discretionary funds on a new Strat season this week. It's on the way. Looking forward to it. Love on card and new seasons. I got the full baseball game set up, so I'm going to get the dice. I'm going to get the new charts. That's going to be fun, and that's probably going to, as a result, that's probably going to be what ends up on the tabletop when I get back from vacation in 2 weeks. But I've been dying to do 47. Have I ever watched RJL play his inside pitch seasons? I have, and I like RJL. I'm weird, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm a little weird in that I like to listen to other people play games while I'm playing my games. And because of me multitasking, first of all, probably for me not having played inside pitch, I don't understand the game engine really well, right? So that's number one. I can take RJL in like a 5-minute chunk because he's so damn intense. He's so intense. And I can't focus on what I'm doing while I'm listening. Because I don't watch, I listen. I have my phone over here and I'm listening to people on YouTube. So I'm really drawn to like listening to Digital Dice while I'm playing. Or I'm really drawn to like listening to Sportsman Z's review videos. Or just discussionary videos. And your games, actually, Sportsman Z, if you're still around. I enjoy listening to your games for the most part because you have the right ebb and flow for me. Right? Jeff Guterman, I pretty much listen to everything Jeff does because it's like listening to a real casual radio broadcast, and he hits the highlights, but for the most part, it's this mellow background noise, right? That I can just kind of listen to. Your bizarre rants. Happily, Chris. Feel free to listen to my meandering, idiotic vlogs, which is this new thing I'm starting this week. And my dogs barking in the background. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Ooh. One moment. How do I mute? I don't even know how to mute anymore. Oh. I went in the bedroom, so it's a little bit better. Sorry about that. Oh my god, that's loud. Sorry, guys. Hope you're not wearing earphones. Jesus. One of the dangers of listening to my channel. Babies. Come here. Come here. Come here. Midgie. Come here. Who's a good girl? Huh? All right, she's relaxing. Holy crap, that's loud. That's much louder on the laptop than it is on the phone, apparently. Must be a better mic, which doesn't make any sense because it's an old laptop. But yeah, so when I'm listening to other people broadcast, I like a more even, mellow broadcast. RJL super intense. And it just distracts me from my replay when I'm trying to play games. But yeah, long story short, guys, it's going to be 2 replays. Everybody left with that one, too. They were like, dogs barking, gone. Fuck it. Terrible. That's fine. I don't blame you. It's awful. I can't control it. I have a small house. Can't keep the dogs from barking without being an asshole. And I love my dogs, so I'm not going to be an asshole to them. But I do apologize. It's fucking terrible when it happens. I try to broadcast at night when they're chill and the neighborhood is quieted down and everybody's home from work for the most part. But here we are, Sunday morning vlog. Or when I'm walking them, but I forgot this morning. Long story short, going to clean up the channel, going to get everything filed away, going to play 73 payoff pitch, and definitely going to play either 1960 or 1947 Strat Super Advanced Full Season Replay. I may put up a poll, but it will be one of those 2 things. It will not be all 3 of those things. It just won't be. Just asking because you may try his style of season. Play a game every 3 days with a good matchup. Use Digital Diamond to keep stats. That's cool. Hey, Doug Sniffing. Good morning. Dogs woke you up, huh? My dogs, I mean. I don't know if you have dogs. I don't like... I'm a control freak, man, with my replays. I don't like not playing all the games. I've tried it. I've tried to do playing a game of the week. I've tried to do playing a game of the day and alternating teams. I like playing every game. If I'll do a short season, I can live with a short season if I know I have an endpoint. But I want to play every game. I don't want to. There's nothing that pisses me off more than letting the game autoplay and finding out somebody threw a no-hitter or somebody hit 4 homers. Not that 4 homers happens very often, but no-hitters happen more often than you would friggin' think, especially with certain seasons. And that's aggravating to me. Like, I want to be there for that moment. It's bad enough, like, when the season's going on and I get home and I'm watching, like, ESPN or catching highlights, like, oh, so-and-so threw a no-hitter today. Well, spoiler, I can't go back and watch it and enjoy it with the same level as if I experienced it. So, I don't know. That's just me. I'm not a big control freak in my life. I'm pretty laid back about most things. But, yeah. In my replays, I want to play every game. Even back, like, when I played Madden, I remember Madden 95 on my Super Nintendo, right? 94 or 95. I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. I'd have to go back and look at what games had what options. But one of the games, you can only play one team. Maybe all of them. I don't know. Maybe you had to pick a team for the season, right? So I'd always play the Giants. And whatever year they didn't keep stats in the damn game. So I would play out this. I don't even know if you could play the season. Maybe you can only play like one-offs. So I would grab the season schedule out in a newspaper and I would play the season and I would have a notebook and I would keep the stats for the Giants because they would show you I think they would show you the stats at the end of the game anyway. I'm pretty sure because otherwise it would have been impossible. I'm not going to record every play, right? Was it Rodney Hampton? I don't know. So I would keep all the stats for the Giants and I would do their record and everything else. And then I would go play the next team that I felt like playing. And then I would go play the next team that I felt like playing. So in the end, I'd end up playing one of the years. I actually played all the teams, kept stats for every single team because I had to know how the season turned out. If I played all the teams, if I was in control of them all, you couldn't play both sides like you can now, where you can just let the computer play both defenses or something, which I do in Action PC and I love it. I just call the offensive plays and I have a great time. I'm playing 72 right now on Action PC. I haven't even talked about that on the channel. I should probably mix in a little football as we get into the fall here, just for fun. You actually hit advanced one day, autopilot your PC replay, and was furious for a good week in real life. Yeah, Doug, that pisses me off, man. You understand that, Glenn? Yeah, I'm just like I don't want to miss the highlights, man. I don't want to go through a whole season, be like, oh, there were 5 no hitters, and I rolled none of them. Like that sucks. Like they don't even feel real then. It's just like something happened in the background. So yeah, and that's why I like playing all teams too. I don't even like single team replays because I want to get a feel for every team, short season or full season, But if I have my option, if I had unlimited time, it would be full season everything forever, But yeah, replay problems, right? It's tough, man. Replay problems. It's fun chatting with you guys because I come on with a topic and then I'm all over the freaking place based on what people say. But that's all right. We're having a good time and it's engaging for me. I thank you. Thank you for hanging out. So what this whole blog was all about was too many blog. This is a video vlog, or as I titled it in day 1, Vogue. Let's have a Vogue every day, guys. I don't know what it means, but we're gonna have it. Got to narrow it down to 2. They're both going to be on the channel. My plan is this, as far as the channel is concerned, if anybody cares. I care. This is just for me. If you guys are interested, great. I'm going to alternate days. And so I'm going to play all the American League games for Payoff Pitch 1973 on April 18th, 1973. And I'm going to stream one of them. Right? So boom, that's a day of play for me generally. Because I usually get, very honestly, within a day or 2, I usually, if I'm focused on one replay, I do about 2 calendar days per week. Maybe 3, depending on how my weekend is. If I got nothing going on. How many seasons have I fully replayed and completed, Doug? 76 in Strat. 54 in Strat. 80. I did it with a friend. That would have been 88 or 89. I don't remember which one, to be honest with you. That was a long time ago. That was the first one we ever did. We did that together. He did the National League. I did the American League. I think it was 88. 88 in Strat. 62 in Strat Basic. Mic up. You guys hear an echo? I can hear myself talking off my phone. 2. There's one more. There's one more. Oh, 96. 96 in Strat. When it first came out, weirdly. All C&D. All cards and dice. I've also done a number on the PC that I've blown through. Like I've done a bunch of different projects on Strat PC over the years, and I did a few full seasons, and I couldn't tell you even which ones. For a while I was playing when APBA 5.5 with Ernie Harwell doing the broadcasting came out. That was the only game I was playing at the time. Like I wasn't playing any cards and dice games. I was just playing that on PC, and I probably completed some. I want to say like early and mid 90s seasons, probably like 91, 92, 93. I know I played 94 to completion, even though there was no. I did all that in the APBA game, the APBA PC game back then. So let's say, what's that, 9 or 10? Yeah, that I've completed, and I can't tell you how many I've got piles of score sheets, because I did everything by hand for a long time. Piles and piles of score sheets, just binders full of stuff. Hey, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? Thanks for the good game this morning, man. What's my deciding factor for how I pick or stick with a season? Honestly, deciding to stick with a season. Um, Managing to keep the blinders on for everything else that interests me. That's the hardest part, right? Like for a long time, my pattern was I would buy whatever. I would always buy the new season for Strat, and I would do a small project, and then I would, when they started reissuing seasons, a lot of the times I would buy the reissue season, and that would be my replay right up until the damn new season came out. So however far I got into it, a lot of times it was 40, 50, 60 games for each team. Be like, playing this. I want to complete it. Oh, wow, they're coming out with 82 this year? All right, I'm going to get 82. So I'd buy 82. The other season would go back in the closet, and then I'd start playing 82. And then I did that for like a decade. And it was fun. 8:45 a.m. What time is it now? 8:34. Very nice. I will be there, sir. I'm going to wrap this up. This is longer than I intended it to be. I'm looking forward to it, man. But yeah, so that was my pattern every year. I was only playing Strat. I would buy both new seasons every year. Occasionally, I would actually invest in a hockey or basketball game for just random like variety, and I would play, 10 games of that. And then I'd be like, baseball. Gotta get back to baseball. And yeah, I would just play right up until they announced the new season, and the moment the new season like hit my doorstep and that UPS truck dropped it off, boom, new season's open that night. Uncard it, start playing. Like, let's go. And I'd start a new full season replay. I never played World Series and I never played playoffs. I would always just play until the new season came out. And I got tired of not finishing stuff. I had a lot of fun, but at some point I just got tired of not completing things. So yeah, I got to get focused. Jeff's given me some good advice about this. He said, pick one or two and stick to it. So that's what I'm doing. 1973 payoff pitch is one. And we were going to review this, by the way, real quick. Let's take a look at the season overview through. I've played one game on April 18th so far. The Yankees just beat the Orioles 5-0. Cuellar actually took the loss. He's 36 years old. He's got a decent card in 73. But Doc Medich, I believe, got the win, complete game shutout win for the Yanks. So yeah, here's the current standings through April 18th. Every team's played about 10 games. There's been 2 weekends of the season so far, but I think the season started on a Thursday or a Friday, so it's like a little over. We're coming up on 2 full weeks of calendar days, I believe. So Detroit off to a good start, 6-3. The Red Sox 4-3, Milwaukee 4-3, and Baltimore at 5-5 right now. They just lost to the Yankees, who are at 4-6. And then Cleveland is just in the cellar, 3-6. And look at that run differential, 23 runs to the negative. Then over in the AL West, Kansas City. You look at the Kansas City Cards and you think they're pretty average, right? They're killing it. And I just glanced at the standings. I go into seasons blind as possible usually, until I get a feel for the players and what's going on. And today is the first time that I glanced at the 73 standings in real life. And I realized Kansas City finished second, and I think Minnesota finished third behind Oakland, right? So that makes it interesting to see who's doing what. So Kansas City off to an 8-2 start. The Twins are 6-2, the game back. The White Sox are playing well, and Wilbur Wood is about to make his 4th start in 8 games. Obviously, they've had some days off, but Wilbur Wood's about to start his 4th game in the White Sox 8th game, and that's literally the next game I'm playing. Oakland off to a slow start here, 2-6, and a negative 20 run differential. They have not been good thus far. Nobody's hitting. Nobody on Oakland is hitting yet. Texas 1-5, California 1-6, right? So the Angels suck. Holy crap, they cannot hit their way out of a paper bag. I don't know whose quote it was about them not being able to hit a chandelier in a hotel lobby, but that's holy mackerel. They are bad. It's a bad, bad team. But Nolan Ryan's on there, and it's his huge strikeout season, so He has not gotten off to a good start either, though. I think he's 0-2 with a 7-something ERA so far. So even he has not been a bright point. Over in the East, we got the Cubbies and the Phillies starting strong, 5-3, but we've got a close race here. The Mets and Expos right behind at 500, 4-4. And then the Pirates, 3-4, and the Cardinals bringing up the rear, 3-6. The Pirates got killed in a couple of games. -18. Steve Blass has I think his ERA just came down from 30. In his first 2 starts, he had a 30 ERA, guys. I think it came down to 22 or 23 in his last start. He's carded for 18 starts with a 9-something ERA in real life. So, yikes. Obviously, they get him out of the rotation around midseason. I can't believe he made it that long. And then over here, we got the Braves starting off very strong, 8-3. San Francisco right behind, 9-4. San Fran was 9-2. They just lost 2 in a row to Atlanta, and they've got another game today. The Astros, nice team, 8-5. Cesar Cedeno in payoff pitch, the auto steal ratings determine how often a guy can steal. Usually, most players are like 2 or 3, and that's guys who didn't steal too much. Even good base stealers might be like a 5 or a 6. But Cesar Cedeno's a 10. So every time he gets on base and the 6-sided dice are a 10 or less, he gets to try stealing a base. I think he had 70 steals on the season. Cincinnati, 6-6. They started off poorly. I think it says 5-5 here for the last 10, but I think they started off 0-3. So they're coming along. The Dodgers not playing well yet, 4-8. Midday. Sorry, guys. Dogs. I can't mute it. I'll figure out how to do it. Hey, stop. She looked at me and was like, fuck you. I'm going to bark. And then the Padres are just the toilet of the league. If we were going to have the worst series, it would be the Padres versus the Angels. Almost certainly by the end of the season. So, and then Glenn says, did you say in an earlier vlog that you're not going to keep a paper score sheet? So, I'm making up my mind. I think that if this laptop streams pretty well, what I'm going to try to do is figure out how to get Digital Diamond on the screen for purposes of people being able to follow the game better while I have the camera on the cards and dice. That would be my ideal setup. I did that with Strat back when I had a better PC on my other channel, and that's ideally what I'm going for. If I can't work that out, I'm probably going to pay payoff pitch right into Digital Diamond, and I may get a little like Al Wilson's what do you call it? Scorekeeping. Like he sells like 3D printed scorekeeping like baseball diamonds and stuff like that. I may pick one of those up. And if I can't figure it out, I'm going to score Strat manually, and then I'll input the games after for the games that I play on stream. Or I may, very honestly, if I can't figure it out, I'm going to do a score sheet for both games. Because I'm only going to stream, one out of every 5 or 6 games. I'm going to stream 1 game per calendar day for each league, is the plan for both replays. And I'll probably just do a score sheet if I can't figure out how to get Digital Diamond up there, and then score it after. So there'll be score sheets for the games that I broadcast one way or another. That answer your question, Glenn? Did I explain that well enough? Either Digital Diamond will be on the screen on my streams, or the score sheet will be on my tabletop for the streams. Because I know people like it, and frankly, when I'm broadcasting a game, I like having the physical score sheet because it's easy to refer to what the flow of the game has been. How good does Digital Diamond Mind work scoring? Don't say Diamond Mind; those are 2 different things. How good does Digital Diamond Baseball work scoring payoff pitch? It's great. Once you figure out the controls, it's fantastic. Once you figure out the hotkeys, I should say. The only thing that's kind of weird is advancing runners. That took a little bit of finagling, understanding how certain situations work. And every now and then I run into, especially on the rare plays for payoff pitch, I run into something I don't quite know how to score, so I have to play with it for a few minutes. But for the most part, since I'm using it every day, it's almost second nature at this point. Probably about 100 games into the season overall, and yeah, I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. I just hit enter F8, enter G463, enter single. Takes less than a second and does it beautifully. So really, really like it, Doug. Quick review of the American League. Got Al Kaline leading the league in hitting 423 thus far. Buddy Bell not far behind with 394, and Dave May 393. Bobby Darwin and Rod Carew rounding out the top five. Amos Otis is off to a hot start for Kansas City, one of the reasons they are at the top of the division with 5 homers. And Al McRae right behind him with 3, his teammate. And Dick Allen also 3. Jack Brohammer, one of my favorite baseball names ever, with 2. And Norm Cash with 2. And then over in the RBIs, McRae and Otis leading the league for Kansas City, 13 and 12 respectively. Larry Heil, or Heisel, I don't know how you say his name actually, with 10. He had 7 in the first game of the season. So he's the leadoff man over there for Minnesota, I believe. And 7 in the first game of the season. Mickey Stanley with 10 and Norm Cash with 9 to round it out. Over in the National League, we got Ron Hunt hitting 500 so far in the first 2 weeks. 517, followed by Al Oliver, Concepcion, Bernie Carbo, and Jose Cardinal. In the home runs column, we've got Willie Stargell off to a hot start with 4 homers. Bobby Bonds, the leadoff man for San Francisco, with 3. Darrell Evans with 3. Davey Johnson with 3. This is his big 43-homer season for Atlanta. And John Milner with 3 for the Mets. And then over on the RBI side, we've got Doug Rader with 14. Lee May with 11 for the Orioles. And he's their leadoff man, too, interestingly. Gary Thomason for San Francisco with 10. Dusty's got 9, and Davey Johnson with 9. On the pitching side of the American League, Doyle Alexander with a 0 ERA to go with. You got Bro Hammer and Bro Berg. I don't know why I like those names so much, but I do. Woody Fryman and Gary Ryerson all posting no runs allowed so far, no earned runs. And Doc Medich for the Yanks with a 0.56 ERA. The winners so far, Blyleven, Busby, McNally, and Wood at 3-0. Wood has started 3 of the 7 games for the White Sox, and he's about to make his 4th start in 8 games. He has 49 games started in 73. And Dick Drago for Kansas City with 2. Garber leads the league in saves with 4, followed by Acosta for Chicago. And Bolin, Fingers, and Hiller all have a couple of saves each. It's early. Over in the NL, we've got Russell allowing no earned runs so far. But you'll note he is not in the win column. Chicago's not hitting. I believe Russell's record is 0-0 or 0-1 in 3 starts. Don Gullett, 0.35. Tommy John, Jerry Royce, and Juan Marichal, Marichal has pitched way above his card so far. He's had 3 spectacular starts, and I believe been a bad luck loser once. I think he gave up 1 earned run and lost 1-0. So Bourbon, Bradley, Carlton, Gibson, and Gullett all with 2 wins. Gibson pitching better than his card so far. He's got an okay. Actually, no, he's pitching worse than his card so far. I'm sorry. He's got an okay card, a 3-something ERA. Nothing compared to his 68 season. But yeah. And then the save leaders would be Sosa for Montreal, followed by Crawford, Walker, Marshall, and Negro. I don't care about MVP and Cy Young yet, and let's look at hitting streaks just for fun. Amos Otis, the longest hitting streak in the American League so far, and it's current at 10 games, followed by Bill Freehan and Rod Carew, Dave May, and Paul Shaw. They're all current streaks, obviously in the early season. And then we've got Ken Wrights with an 8-game hitting streak in the National League. Tommy Helms had a 9-game streak going. He got it broken in the last game. Started with 7 in a row. Tim Foley, Ron Hunt, and Rader. That's pretty much it. I don't think we've had too many crazy offensive performances. 7 RBIs being the high on the season. And I don't think anybody's hit. I think somebody hit 2 homers in one game. That's been about it. I think it was Stargell actually hit 2 homers in one game. But yeah, that's where we're at, guys. So 73 is going to continue. I don't know if I'm going to get a game in today. The Giants are on. Wifey will want to watch that. We'll see if I get something in late morning. But right now, I'm going to go hang out and watch Jeff Guterman play a little 1962 Stratomatic. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been fun. Appreciate the chat and the feedback, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful Sunday. Play some games.